exactly transpired on Job Sikhala, the more it becomes clear that the man was framed. Now, caption this. Job Sikhala is going to South Africa. That these are the details that we now have. And going to South Africa, we are told there is a certain man who took, if we are to go with Ngari Vumes, I'm tempted to actually look at Ngari Vumes' message on Facebook. If we are to go with that particular message of what transpired, Job Sikhala was in South Africa, and whilst in South Africa, let me just go there shortly. Let me greet you this morning and welcome you to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Yes. Let me see. When he was breaking the story, listen to this. I have been informed that Job Sikhala has been arrested in South Africa. A friend with Sikhala in South Africa told me that while Job was at a meeting last night, one of his hosts asked to check something in his car. He took the keys and then went away. He returned after 30 minutes and asked that they all leave the meeting, for it was getting late. Job then got into the car he was using. As they were on their way, police stopped them and searched their car. They found planted explosives, and he was arrested and is in Pretoria at a local police station. Lawyers have been dispatched from Zimbabwe to help in on the case. South African lawyers are already on the case. This shows how the regime is desperately networking with regional bodies to fight for those who are opposed to corrupt and illegal 2030 nonsense. Now, this makes sense. Now, if you are also to read, there is a police statement that if you connect it with what we are being told here by Jacob Ngarivume. Caption this. The police now, Job Sikhala, before they caught him, they have made it publicly that they received a strange call, and that call detailed the vehicle that Job Sikhala was using. It was a tip-off. They received a call tipping them off, telling them what is inside Job Sikhala's vehicle, exactly as they told him, they found what this caller actually called to report. Now, a lot of people have been saying no, but it's easy also to track that caller. The South African police can track that caller. The people who did this job are professional people. They wanted to make sure that Job Sikhala is arrested, and definitely they cannot be traceable in terms of the call. They may have used these lines that are sold on the streets, and when you actually follow them, they will link you to another person, a very, very innocent person. So there is absolutely a high probability that this is what is happening. Now, I want to check something. There is something very, very interesting. If you look at Marrakesh, all of them, what they were saying as soon as Job Sikhala it was discovered, the news started surfacing that he has been arrested in South Africa. I just want to look at the statements. Okay, there is this one called CH Mukuku Ngunungwa. Right, listen to this one. It says, Ndikunzwei futhi Muchiti Job Sikhala is not a criminal. The arrest of Job Sikhala in South Africa, allegedly for possessing explosives, raises serious questions. A man with no mind to his name, certainly caught with a lot of explosives. If this scene had played out in Zimbabwe, we all know the script. Activists and international community would be rightly condemning it as a fabricated, politically motivated arrest designed to silence a dissenting voice. Now, these guys, they are given a script on what to say. If you look at what he is saying if this was done, he acknowledges that Job Sikhala, number one, has no mind. And these explosives, he acknowledges indirectly that these explosives, they are used in mine. Who are the people who are mining in Zimbabwe? It is the Zwikanandas. They are the ones who are running the mines, your Scott Sakupwanyas, all these CIO operatives, your Owen Muta Ngube and others. They are the ones who need these actually gadgets that were planted on Job Sikhala. And I think they may be having them as they also know how to connect this and so that they can explode. So Job Sikhala, number one, has no mind. So that exonerates him. That on its own clearly exonerates him. So this was number one, actually, Barakash. There are many, by the way. Let me look for one because I now know them. Right. I'm sure there is this one. There are so many. I'll just choose which one to actually talk about. But I want to go on a case. There are many. If you look at all of them, they actually commented on Job Sikhala, right? And this thing, if you look at it, it was well orchestrated. Someone says Farai. Let me see. Okay, they shared Farai's Farai Muroiwa Marapira, who is the ZANU PF Director of Information statement. Look at what one of the propaganda radio stations owned by Superman Dwanzira said, which is something that was shared by this Barakash. Now, he says, this is ZFM Stereo News. Sikhala arrested after ZANU PF warning. Marapira warning becomes reality. They wrote a lengthy story. Now listen to this. I want to read this and you connect the dots. I will read maybe an extra one of the pages of ZANU PF. It says, 4 days after ZANU PF Director of Information Farai Marapira warned that Job Sikhala and Tendai were scheming to cause chaos, Sikhala has been arrested in South Africa after police allegedly found explosives in his car. The 53-year-old Pretoria and is being held at the city's main police station rather. He was reportedly arrested moments after meeting a group claiming to represent, they know everything, claiming to represent former DRC President Job Sikala's party, who had offered to support his democracy campaign in Zimbabwe. So they are revealing the trap of what really happened. They know everything. Now, how did they get that? How did this information was not yet in the public domain, but already they know. So Job Sikhala may have actually attended the meeting because they framed him using Joseph Kabila's party, who had actually offered to support his democracy campaign in Zimbabwe. They are really explaining how this story was actually framed. And they have been developing this story. Most probably they had knowledge that Job Sikhala was going to go to South Africa. Now it says, pictures circulating online show Sikhala sitting in handcuffs on a roadside barrier with an elderly man believed to have been with him. Another photo shows what appears to be explosives wrapped in a yellow plastic bag. In an interview earlier this week, Marapira issued a blistering warning against Sikhala and Biti. So Biti also may be the target. I think I said it last when I did this story of Farai Marapira, and I indicated that there is something huge that ZANU PF is planning against these activists. I said it, not knowing anything, but hearing the tone of that young man. Obviously, he's given a script on what to say, very dull, of course. So, accusing them of living of political instability and chaos. These people have never written a single letter calling for dialogue, and I do not believe they ever will, because they feed off chaos. Marapira said, where there is political violence, that is when they feed their families. They get neo-imperialist funding to cause destabilization at the cost of the people in the streets and the country's economy. He said two opposition figures had never been sincere in seeking a true Zimbabwean solution, claiming they prosper when there is confusion and collapse when there is peace. Days before the arrest, Marapira also vowed that those plotting unrest under the pretext of defending the constitution would be met head on and crushed. So, and let me just play you for a second the 55-minute video that was actually displayed by this ZANU PF radio station run by a ZANU PF member that is owned by a ZANU PF member, Superman Ndewanzir, and obviously most probably run by CIOs. Let me play it.
These people have never written a single letter calling for dialogue.
Why would they call for dialogue?
I do not believe they ever will, because they subsist and thrive.
Why do they have to call for dialogue with a dictator?
When there is political violence, that is when they feed their families. When there is chaos in the streets,
when that happens, it's just a baseless accusation. We have never seen a Job Sikhala feeding on violence.
And at the cost of economic development of the country by extension, they narrowly and selfishly feed their own individual wallets and individual families.
This is a lie, so a baseless accusation.
Asking for dialogue, and we know they will never write, and we know they will never be sincere in actually seeking a true Zimbabwean solution to Zimbabwean problems.
They can never be a true Zimbabwean solution as long as ZANU PF is actually in charge. Now, let me do this. There is this page called ZANU PF Patriots. ZANU PF Patriots. It posted a lot of posts also about Job Sikhala. I mean, if we are to go to all these Marakashis, you will discover that these people, as soon as Job Sikhala was arrested, they circulated a lot of information. For example, this page circulated 1, 2, and let me say 3, 4. It circulated 4 posts that I have seen so far about Job Sikhala. Now, let me go through all these posts, reading to you what they were saying. Very, very suspicious indeed. These posts, by the way, they are revealing plot of how this all began. They say, statement on Job Sikhala's conduct in South Africa. You know, so already they have a judgment on Job Sikhala. And this is meant, by the way, to influence South Africans to have hatred on Job Sikhala. This is what exactly is meant. Listen, we strongly condemn the criminal actions of former MP Job Sikhala in South Africa. His behavior is unacceptable and brings disrepute to Zimbabwe. As a former public official, he should have upheld the law, not violated it. Zimbabweans are known for integrity and discipline, and such acts do not represent our nation. We call on all citizens to uphold the country's good image wherever they are. So this is the first post that was posted by this ZANU PF page. Listen to this. Jailed Sikhala to spend weekend in South Africa. You see, the South African Police Service has confirmed that opposition activist Job Sikhala, arrested on charges related to explosives, will appear before the Pretoria Magistrate Court on Monday, November 10, 2025. Now, they say, look at this. Now we know who attacked SEP's offices. You know, they have been trying to actually connect some have been trying to connect what happened to Job Sikhala's house being bombed, as well as also to SEP Trust offices. And they want now, this is what counterintelligence does. And this is what ZANU PF does at its best. That's why they were killing people during Kukuraunde genocide, taking videos, and they claim these were the videos that were done during the War of the Liberation struggle, which is a lie. If you look at those videos, they were taken during the implementation of the Kukuraunde genocide. And they will apparate them on their ZBC and say this was during the struggle. There is nothing like that. Anyway, one day we'll speak the truth of what really transpired. Now, Job Sikhala wanted to be Mandela, like former President Mandela. His stay in South Africa prison will help him complete the process. You can see because these pages, I can tell you, they are writing all this guided by Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. It's not, they report directly to Emmerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. There are many of them, many. I think I can't read about all of them. It will actually, and part of the individuals definitely who joined them. Let me see whether I can get one more, but all of them, they spoke about Job Sikhala. All of these Marrakeshis, in fact, they are the ones who started breaking the story. They are the ones who started breaking the story and telling us what happened in their own way. There is a lot of, it's very fishy. It's it's highly suspicious. And also, I think I've said this and I will repeat it. The government of South Africa, of course, they would say this one is a non-entity. But the government of South Africa should be really serious about this case. If ZANU PF can smuggle explosives to their country, if ZANU PF can, I repeat again, if ZANU PF can smuggle explosives to their country, and also I think a person of interest in this case, it's easy for Job Sikhala. The person who took the car keys, I wish, but these people, they are professionals. Most probably, they made it a point that there was no footage, and I just pray and hope where the police said they can obtain a footage, they can really get that particular, the host of Job Sikhala. I think the story will come out, especially when but at least we are getting a clear, sometimes, you know, in understanding what transpired to Job Sikhala at the moment, it's very important to listen to the story that has been said by Jacob Ngarivume, because we believe he might have heard it from the Job Sikhala family. Number two, it's crucially important to listen to Marrakesh as well as Marrakesh radio stations such as ZFM, on how they commented to the story. There is a lot that I was speaking surrounding Job Sikhala, and the people who are actually involved in this have to be exposed, all of them, and we will be working flat out to make sure that we do exactly that. I mean, we don't worry about whether the videos would be watched, but this story, it has to be dealt with in all angles. Job Sikhala was framed, and it has now become clear by the ZANU PF. It is the agents of ZANU PF. Most probably, they may have funded his trip to South Africa. That host taking the keys for 30 minutes, the keys of the car of Job Sikhala, that host has to be actually questioned a lot. Has to be, I mean, his identity. Who is this host? Taking the cars for 30 minutes, and guess this, and they quickly asking Job Sikhala to move. And in the process of moving where he was, Job Sikhala gets arrested. The police says there is someone who called them and told them what exactly was in the car of Job Sikhala. I think the case is rescued in such a manner. And you look at ZFM now saying Job Sikhala was called by people allegedly sent by Joseph Kabila, the former president of DRC, and these people wanted, to assist Job Sikhala restore democracy in Zimbabwe. Now you see, if you connect the dots, this can be done by nothing except the members of the Central Intelligence Organization, including all other people they are working with. It's a big network, and a lot of them have been exposed. And what I have said, I stand by it in all aspects. This is my views. This is my analysis to this particular story. It gets me worried to learn that we have got such heartless people. And one of the pages of these Barakashis says Job Sikhala's wish has been to be a Mandela of Zimbabwe. So they are making his dream come true by actually framing him to go to a South African prison. How callous and heartless these idiots are. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next